The state of your manifestation, your ideal state exists right now. Your self being fully manifested in your ideal version already exists. You just have to tune in to that wavelength, into that frequency. Right, so we have different states that we're showing up in our life. So for example, you have a state that you're showing up with because it's an agreement you've made with yourself that you're going to show up that way in a certain area. So for example, in our health and our fitness, you have a certain state that you've made an agreement with over internally, subconsciously, and you are showing up in that state constantly. And that state might be, I'm not going to pass this level of fitness in my life, or I'm not going to be fitter than this, or fitness is difficult for me, or I can only train 3 days a week. That is an agreement, a secret, almost like a silent agreement that you've made with yourself that you can't overcome that because you said to yourself you can't. Because your vocabulary is super important when it comes to your manifestation. Because if you say you can't do something, you're already stopping yourself from doing it. Then we'll have a different state to do with relationships, right? So in your relationships, you'll say, I'm always with type of guys that do this to me, or I always attract people that are like this, or I just wish that I wouldn't attract. And the universe doesn't understand when you say, I wish I wouldn't. It's just saying, and it's listening to what you're saying. The universe doesn't understand, I want to attract such and such guy, or I want to, like, it doesn't understand when you're putting something in front of what you don't want, in the sense of, I can't do better than XYZ. It's just going to say, okay, so you're thinking that for yourself, I'm going to attract that to you. You're not going to be able to get past or get what you don't think can become true for yourself, right? So we have different states that we occupy, these emotional, almost like homes or like parking spots in different areas of our life that we put ourselves in. So another area could be in your abundance or your money, right? So you could say, I'm not a person that can make more than like $1,500 a month, right? So you're going to be occupying that state, and you're not going to let yourself get out of that state because that's what you've set yourself up for in a certain area. And as human beings, we have different states in different areas of our lives that we cater to, right? Because to make us a human being and to have a human experience on this life and in this world, we have different areas that make us whole as a person, right? And also even in your family relationships, you could say like, oh, I don't get along well with my family. You're occupying a certain state in your family dynamic that you're not letting yourself grow from there or get past that. And the same will happen, for example, with like anxiety or depression even. You'll say to yourself, I'm a person that has anxiety, or I'm a person that has depression, right? So you're living up to a certain state that you've made an agreement on silently and subconsciously in your mind, and you're not letting yourself get past that. So you've put yourself in your own prison cell, so to speak, but it's really a mental prison. And once you can start picking up on these walls that you're putting up for yourself and these mini agreements that aren't serving you or not taking you anywhere, that is where you'll be able to realize that that's something I need to become conscious of, and I need to break that to be able to upgrade and to be able to argue the agreements that I made with myself that are not taking me anywhere and I know are not true. And they're not something that's making me abundant. They're not serving me for my highest purpose. They're not taking me on my highest path. I'm not going to be able to become my best version if I keep making these agreements with myself and the person that I used to be. Because your ego wants to keep you small and it wants to keep you safe. And if you're watching my channel, you most likely have had, you've had a path of understanding a little bit about the ego and understanding a little bit about yourself, right? And the ego is something that's inside of you that's not the enemy, but it wants to keep you safe, and it will most likely always want to keep you small. And that's not somewhere we want to be if we want to grow and become our best version. So I challenge you to challenge the voice in your head that puts you in these different states. And I challenge you to become conscious about these subconscious agreements you've made to yourself about the different states that you're showing up to. So next time you have a situation that's challenging, or a situation where you're showing up a certain way and you know you are, break it down, ask yourself if you really want to be showing up that way or not, and then ask yourself, can I show up a different way? Can I break the mold? Which state can I change that's going to favor me and my highest self and my best version, and it's going to take me on the path to where I want to go, to break this mold and become a better version of myself now and for tomorrow.